New at 10, the school year has just begun and one academic institution is already seeing a major increase in enrollment.
That's right. John Wood Community College's Workforce Development Center enrollment has grown by more than a third since last year.
WGEM's Zeke Shapiro was there earlier today for more details about the increase.
That is pretty cool, and more people are learning how to do it.
Last year, we had 147 unduplicated students at the Workforce Center. This year we have 198.
A new marketing company study for higher education finds trade school enrollment is expected to rise by 6% over the next 5 years. Local trade school administrators say there are multiple reasons for the increase.
A one-year certificate or a two-year degree, they can go straight into the workforce and be making head of household wages.
Administrators at John Wood's Workforce Development Program say whereas once parents were wanting their kids to get a 4-year degree, financially it may not be their best option.
I think they're seeing now that there's some benefit of going to a shorter term certificate. Let them get into work, start earning some wage and come out without any student debt.
According to a study from Business Insider, the average cost of a single year's tuition at 4-year colleges was $11,000 for an in-state students and $30,000 for out-of-state. For the trade schools,
so if you're a 2-year thing, you could be looking at $12,000 to $14,000, maybe in that area.
There are 4 main trade categories: transportation, manufacturing, logistics, and one of the most popular specialties taught at John Wood Community College is welding. And locally, the jobs are there at companies such as Knapheide, Gardner Denver, and General Mills.
Employers are still hiring. There's still a shortage for skilled workers, especially in things like air conditioning and heating and plumbing in those kind of areas.
For the students enrolled at trade schools, joining the workforce is what they're aiming for.
I knew that trades were booming, and also being able to work with my hands and learn and carry that forward on to my future generations if I ever wanted to have kids is a really big thing that I can carry on.
Quincy's population fell under 40,000 at the time of the 2020 census. Trade school administrators say if there are more local skilled workers at local businesses, the declining trend could turn around.
And that just keeps that individual locally. They start a family, and it just helps our overall population and our economic growth in our area.
And JWCC Dean Dave Hensler also said the potential rise in small businesses for those working in maintenance jobs like air conditioning and plumbing would be greater in the next few years.